gentlemen, welcome to another week of the Uncovering Anomalies Podcast.
Hell
This is
yeah.
episode 158.
Yeah, you got it. What's today's date?
Oh, that I don't know. I know it's March.
It is March 22nd.
March 22nd.
Yes, and that is the end of a quarter already of 2026.
Yeah, this year is flying by, man.
Dude, I mean, I know I say prophecies are fake all the time, but a lot of them say that time speeds up during the end days.
I think it's just a symptom of getting bombarded with nonstop crazy events, and also, just getting older.
Yeah, exactly. When you're young, time goes by much slower.
I know. Right? I remember being like 15, 16, being like, God, that's a year away. Good Lord. Now it's just like, that's a year away. And then it's like a week later.
It feels like a month.
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what is it? A week feels like, or a month feels like a week feels like a day feels like an hour. Yeah.
It's insanity. But it's still, I think I mentioned this, maybe last was the episode before, but like 2016 still to me feels like, I still think of 2016 like, oh, that was like a couple years ago.
Why 2016?
I don't know. Because like, was not just starting, but I had gotten like my big boy job where I was working in an office. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like, I remember that's when Trump got elected, and it was just, I remember thinking, it's still, maybe it's because we like left Trump and then came back to Trump. Maybe that's the thing in my head.
Yeah. I mean, 2016 was definitely, the year.
It was a decade ago.
That's nuts.
It is nuts.
So people have been fighting for him for a decade, right? And then he just turned on them just like that. What an act. What a psyop he has been.
Yeah, I question his mental faculties and curious as how much of it is total like actual malice towards people and how much of it is just him being, completely insane. Like everything he campaigned on, no new wars, like here we go, like
everything, dude,
everything, just complete opposite.
It's so nuts.
But technically we're not at war.
No, it's an excursion.
Right. Just a fun little trip into the Middle East.
It's a little tiny excursion that has global effects, and millions are going to starve if they don't stop and die.
And we might talk about that later. But instead,
what are we doing today?
First, I would like to say that is I have a need to know Adam.
Thank you, Topher. Hopefully everyone is doing well.
Yes, I hope everyone is doing well. And like Adam said, I am Topher. And today we are going to talk about Canada's best documented UFO case. And you probably have heard of this one. We've actually talked about it on the show just in passing once or twice.
Yes.
It's a really fun deep dive that I did over the last few weeks. Wrote an article about it. You can find that on Substack, my Substack, Topher LS Substack.
Yes, everyone head over there, and it's free. You can subscribe. Put your subscribing doesn't mean paying, but of course you can if you want to. There's always that option. If you want to. Eventually, when I get to a place I'm comfortable with, and I've got enough of a backlog of good articles, then I'll probably make it monetized. Nice. I think, and like you said, you plan on doing a make these because the good news is you already created the content. You wrote the content. Mm-hmm. So you could actually use these as scripts for videos. You can do a voiceover and have, images and videos.
Yes.
In the background on a new YouTube channel, which people would probably be very interested in.
Yes. Do kind of a video essay format.
Video essay. Yes, exactly.
So,
go ahead.
What we're talking about today is the Falcon Lake UFO incident.
Yes, and that is in Manitoba, Canada. We've probably covered this because I did see some press releases about this private UFO collector, and he donated all of it to the University of Manitoba, and in there were a lot of the original documents pertaining to this case. So I think maybe that's why we covered it in the past.
Yeah, gotcha. I mean, it comes up when you talk about big time UFO cases. This one's great. Just to sum it up, Stefan Michalak, he was out hiking in the forests of Manitoba near Falcon Lake, obviously. And he came across two UFOs, one of which landed, and he was able to come up and touch it. And he got burned by I'm going to say it's exhaust. I mean, no one really knows what it was, right? The exhaust that came out of the UFO burned his shirt and his hat. and left a grid-like pattern of burns on his chest. And there's a really famous photo that most UFO researchers would recognize in this article that we'll be covering today. That hopefully people be like, oh.
Yeah, I like how you start with the man, just so we can, see who he is. Is he a con man? Is he the type to make up stories or embellish, or did he have a drug problem, or stuff like that? Did he like attention? I think that's also important to figure out with these cases.
Yeah, and he really doesn't seem that way. In my opinion, just reading about him, he seems like, I think I put it right there. He seems like one of the old school good old boys that your grandpa has stories about.
Yeah.
Oh, so my buddy Stefan, did this, and this, and you'd be like, oh, grandpa, you're so goofy.
So he was born in Poland in 1916. He also enlisted in the Polish army when he became of age, and was well respected by his comrades.
Yeah.
During his time in the military, he developed a strong sense of duty and right versus wrong, as those who spend time in the Air Force often do. What it boiled down to was this: if something happened, it should be reported. Good point. He would continue his service until escaping the communist-controlled Poland in 1948. And after a 10-year struggle, he was able to bring his wife and rest of his family into Canada as well. So he is a Polish immigrant, escaping
and escaping the some of the difficulties of war, escaping the commies. Yeah, I mean, and I can't imagine, especially back then, you don't have social media. Obviously, there's phone calls and stuff, but it's hard you can't keeping track of people is a little bit more difficult. But he spent 10 years in Canada alone trying to get his wife and his first child there over into Canada with him. I mean, that's a pretty crazy. I can't even imagine trying to do that today.
Yeah, I mean,
again, you can't reach out on Facebook or something.
Exactly.
Send them.
So it's probably letters. Yeah, letters back and forth.
I don't even know if you can send letters into a communist.
Oh yeah, it was the Iron Curtain, right? During
a world war. Yeah. So one of the things that Mr. Michalak, Stefan, liked to do, he prospected for rare elements, which I'm assuming was like a cool 1960s, 1950s thing to do at the time.
Yeah.
I'm assuming people still do this today, but I have to imagine it's done with like satellites and technology.
Exactly.
But he would actually go out on foot and look for these things. He was looking for both quartz and silver, which I imagine would get you a pretty decent chunk of change. If you
for sure. And you're always out in nature, right? In very remote areas as well. So, he's really primed for an incident like this.
Yeah. And, you're hiking, you're staying in shape. I mean, this is a pretty damn good hobby. Let me see. So, just sum it up. He's a blue collar, hardworking, and a family oriented guy, obviously. And by all accounts, not a prankster, not a liar or a con man. And in fact, he was the opposite. And he was well respected by those who knew him. He was not the type of person to fake an event like this for attention or fame. Plus, how does one exactly fake radiation poisoning? Now, something I did not touch on the article was a debunking. It was so ridiculous that the one I came across. But they said I'm trying to remember how they said he did it, but they said they essentially found something that was radioactive and just rubbed it all over himself.
Okay. That seems kind of childish to do.
Yeah. Right. Well, and if you continue with the debunking, well, you know what? We'll get to it. I'll circle back to this point because I don't want to get to the debunking and ruin the whole point of the story.
All right, so let's get to the event.
Yeah. On May 20th, here, you want to take it?
No, it doesn't matter really.
Okay. On May 20th, 1967, Stefan Michalak was in the woods of White Shell Provincial Park near Falcon Lake in Manitoba, Canada, prospecting for quartz. He had staked out the land the year before and was using the long weekend. Victoria Day was the following Monday. That's a holiday in Canada.
Victoria Day, of course.
He was searching for more veins of the mineral. While exploring, Mr. Michalak, who was 51 years old at the time, cat's on the computer. Oh. Excuse me. Sorry, hold on.
Well, he was startled. He was startled by the honking of a nearby large group of geese. And
do you want to click on that? Do you want to click on that link?
This one right here, the soothing sounds.
The soothing sounds of Canadian geese, so people can know exactly what the sounds like.
1 second.
Just beautiful.
Oh, yeah, loving it. Keep doing it, guys. Don't stop.
Oh God, I love it. Actually,
Honk, honk, honk.
growing up in Montana, that was year round. I'd hear that.
Wow, man.
Yeah, it was obnoxious.
All right, so he heard these geese, and yeah, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Once Mr. Michalak raised his gaze to find the source of all the commotion, he saw two unidentified flying objects with a slight reddish glow floating in the sky about 45 meters away. At first, he believed them to be cigar shapes, but once one of these objects settled to the ground, Mr. Michalak determined that they were actually more disc-shaped in nature, just like your standard UFOs, right?
Right.
The other UFO hovered for a few minutes longer before quickly taking off. What's really interesting about this is Mr. Michalak's response. He never once thought these were aliens or ETs or UFOs or anything like that. He thought they were American aircraft.
Right. Yeah. It's super secret aircraft.
Yeah. He wasn't panicked or anything. In fact, he sat down for about a half hour and just drew this craft. And again, he thought they were American craft, and he just drew it. He sketched out and wrote some notes, and here's what he had right here. So pretty decent drawing. But the fact that he had the state of mind to just, he goes, oh, look, things in the sky, must be those Americans again. And he sat down and drew it, took some notes.
And that could be true. I mean, because there were no beings in here. I mean, it is highly advanced, but this was in the 60s, right?
Yes.
Late 60s.
I think it was I think it's 61, right? May 1967. Well, it said right at the top, 67.
67.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, so late 60s. I mean, we could have, if theoretically, had something like this, some element of the U.S. government. So it's not crazy, especially like how dangerous it is.
Yeah,
because I mean, we'll go into it.
And as it turns out, it was pretty dangerous. Yeah.
And so wait, 35 to 40 feet. The whole thing, and the top is 2 to 3 feet.
3 feet, yeah, I think so. And then he's got there's the grid on the bottom, the 3x3. We'll cover that comes up. That's a major part of the story.
That's pretty big, 35 to 40 feet. It's not small. I thought it would be like drone-like.
No, it's pretty big. I mean, he does. We'll get into it, but you said earlier there was no beings on there, but there might have been, because there's a part of the story that makes it seems like there was.
Okay.
So, like I said, he believed the craft to be an experimental U.S. craft. And so once he was finished drawing, he got up and started getting closer to the craft, and he could smell sulfur, and he was
wait, Topher. So sorry to cut in. So wait, he drew that while it was what? Okay, that's it's even cooler. All right.
Yeah. It landed. He was like, whoa, okay, I'll take a break here and draw it. And then he was drawing it for about 30 minutes, he said. And then he got up and approached the craft, and it was giving off this warm air that smelled strongly of sulfur.
Of course.
I was just going to say, what do we always say, or what do alien abductees always say the aliens smell like, or they always get a whiff of, is sulfur.
Yeah.
The craft also made strange noises. It had whirring noises like motors, and it was hissing like it was releasing air. But the most interesting thing was that the door was open on the side of the craft, and inside, Michalak could hear human voices conversing, but it was muffled from where he was standing, so he couldn't understand what they were saying, but he could hear them talking. And of course, again, thinking this is a U.S. craft, he called out to them, asking if the Yankee boys needed any help. And so after that, he goes, well, maybe they're not American. So he tried Polish, he tried Russian, and he even tried German, which smart guy.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of whoever was working, or instead of any word back from whomever was on the craft, he instead just heard the continuing whirring noises that the craft was making. So someone in there, they were having an argument about why the technology wasn't working, why their flux capacitor was empty.
Right.
And I'm like, oh God, someone's here. Shh, let's hide.
So weird.
So he crept closer to the craft, and he peered through the open doorway, and all he saw was just lights and machinery blinking, and it was just really, really bright in there. So bright, he had to put on his welding goggles.
Interesting.
And there's a goofy picture of him with his goggles on. Yeah, so inside he saw all these lights and light beams and panels of varying colors flashing lights. And I compared it in the article to like a 70s disco, or how I imagine a 70s disco would be, because I, of course, was not alive during that time.
Right.
But to your point, he also said the craft seemed empty. But again, he was standing outside looking in through a doorway, so maybe there's enough room to stay hidden. And then he pulled his head back and he stepped away, and like I'm imagining some sort of sci-fi movie. 3 metallic panels slid across the open door and sealed their aircraft.
Mhm.
Right. And it was at this point that Mr. Michalak reached out and touched the craft, which melted the edges of the fingertips of his glove.
That's nuts, man.
It is nuts. You want to
So,
take it?
Yeah. So it seems by then the UFO and its occupants had quite enough of Stefan Michalak poking around. The craft began to slowly rotate counterclockwise, and that's always seen in these cases.
Yep.
At which point Mr. Michalak saw some sort of section on the outside of the craft that had a grid-like pattern full of holes. Unfortunately, this grid panel chose then to seemingly excrete something, and Mr. Michalak, some sort of air or gas was blasted into his chest, pushing him backwards and lighting his hat and shirt on fire. He quickly tore away the burning clothes as the craft rose slowly before flying away. I mean...
So, yeah, it sounds, I think the general consensus is that it was some sort of exhaust that was coming off of the craft.
Yeah.
But exhaust hot enough to set him on fire is pretty, well, like a rocket ship, right? But I mean,
yeah.
It's not, but it does. Well, as far as we can tell from these UFOs, they're not using rockets for thrusts.
Yeah, or a different type of propulsion, some type of. But if it's heat, if it's producing heat, there is at least you can see what type of, or see the effects of the propulsion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
So Mr. Michalak did not only have to deal with the burns upon his body, but he was also immediately sick and disoriented, vomiting as he stumbled his way through the forest, making his way back to his Falcon Lake motel room. So, I mean, there are physical effects of these things. Obviously, it's radiation if he felt like vomiting and sick, or some type of radiation. So it was during the time at around 3 p.m. that Mr. Michalak was able to flag down a police officer, one Constable G.A. Solotki, that sounds like another Pole, of the Falcon Beach Highway Patrol. This is where Michalak originally reported his story. The report, which can be found seen here. Nice, you got some primary sources.
Yeah, I got the police report.
Ooh, you may click on that.
Yeah, we can give it a quick read. This is one of the contentions of this case, because this guy, basically, the officer just didn't file the report until the next morning, and said, or like maybe it was even a couple days later, and basically just said that he thought Michalak was drunk. He said that Michalak had flagged him down on the highway about 3 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. Wait, hold on, stop, go up just a little bit.
Sorry,
I was reading that. Where'd it go? Oh, this was on Trans-Canada Highway. But no, we know that. Michalak seemed excited and told Solotki he had seen 2 spaceships and that they glowed red and were rotating when he had seen them. He said that he had touched one and got burned.
Oops, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Wait, where were you?
Solotki felt. Oh wait, hold on.
Is that right or wrong?
Right here. You're good. He said that he had burned his hat and shirt, and when asked by Solotki to show him the shirt, he refused, saying he didn't want any publicity. Solotki felt that Michalak appeared as though he had been on a drunk and was suffering from a hangover. His eyes were red, and he acted in a very irrational manner. Anytime Solotki attempted to get near him, Michalak backed away and would seem uncooperative. He claimed to be in the area prospecting, but he had no camping equipment with him, only a briefcase similar to the issue government briefcases. He had no vehicle with him and stated that he came out by bus on Friday, and subsequently, after speaking to Solotki, he returned to Winnipeg by bus late Saturday evening. He told Solotki that he had his burned shirt in his briefcase, but he would not show it to Solotki. He said that okay, the rest of this we don't need to. Oh, Solotki said he could see a burn on the back of the man's hat, but could not see any mark on his head. Solotki said that he did show him the marks on his chest, and they looked like marks that were caused by rubbing ash onto the skin.
Rubbing ash?
Yeah. So this is, like I said, this is one of the points of contention of this case, but it definitely seems like this was a retcon by the cop to come back and add all this stuff.
Oh, okay.
I found many different sources saying different things about this whole interaction with the cop. Some of them said basically Michalak like waved down a cop, and the cop took one look at him and said, "Get out of here, you drunk," and drove off. And then once Michalak came forward, then he came back and added this report. And then I found another source that said there was basically this interaction here. And then, but Michalak, I think, said it pretty much happened this way, but it wasn't being uncooperative. He was basically just pointing out like, hey, there's these two objects over here. They're dangerous. You shouldn't let anyone go that way. And the officer was kind of like, yeah, get out of here, you stinking drunk.
Yeah, of course he's going to say that.
Yeah.
So they're saying here he was given medication for his headache and sedatives to try and get him calmed down. Michalak showed us the burns on his abdomen and chest, and there is a large burn that covers an area approximately 1 foot in diameter. The burn, when we saw it on Tuesday, was blotchy and with unburned areas inside the burned perimeter area. There was no indication of blistering. It resembled an exceptionally severe sunburn in one spot. Michalak was very uncomfortable while we were speaking to him and reminded me of a person that had come out of an epileptic fit. He seemed somewhat bewildered by everything and was not alert. He moved very carefully anytime he moved his body. And when I asked him about this, he said that his head was aching so badly that it pained him to move. Highway patrol. So who corroborated? He pretty well corroborated the version of what had happened, as good as I remember. Oh, yeah, I think he said this. His explanation for not wanting to show our member his shirt was that he was afraid that he had encountered some radioactive object and he did not want to contaminate anyone else. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Which is what Michalak said, yeah.
Yeah. Tell anybody exactly where he had
seen these objects. It says he claims to have a good nickel strike. Everything else I said silver. Or everything else I read said silver. Interesting.
And does not want common knowledge. I do want to tell everyone what the area because he wants the nickel.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're doing this to make some cash, you don't want to give up your claim.
Right, exactly. Wow, this is pretty detailed.
Yeah.
This is that Slotsky guy, right, who's writing this?
Slotsky? I think so. I'm assuming so. Does it say at the very top by any chance?
It's I can't. Winnipeg GIS headquarters. Stefan Michalak report. Okay, no, it doesn't say who the author is. Maybe at the end.
Yeah,
it might. I don't know where we were.
That's all right.
But yeah, I mean, and is this really the date 1990? So this is at
no, I don't know. Actually, I don't know what that date. Maybe it's some sort of archive when it was archived. I actually don't know how these police reports work. But this is the police report that was filed. I do know that.
Oh, they got something.
Yeah. Or it could have been a mistake. Who knows? Typewriters are weird, right?
Yeah. Cap is only the burned area on the skin. He produced an undershirt.
This is getting into some of the stuff we'll cover in a little bit here. They're talking about APRO and things like that.
All right, cool. So yeah, we clicked through. That's where it was.
Yeah. So, unfortunately for him, Constable Slotsky did not seem very impressed. We pretty much just covered all this. Thought he was hungover or drunk, but he did see the burns. But again, I do want to give a little bit of. I want to treat the constable nicely here. I mean, if you see, this is the 60s. Remember, if you see some guy stumble out of the woods, talking about UFOs and he's talking about burns on himself, you would go, okay, he's drunk, like
friggin' hippie, doing some acid.
Yeah, you wouldn't go, oh yeah, you saw UFO. Okay, take me where you saw that. So I get it.
So yeah, I guess using the bus is weird too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just like a 60s thing, you know. I don't actually know. People still use buses, I know that, but it's not very common nowadays. I know it's cheap. So here's a picture of his burned shirt.
Yeah, look at they can see.
That's the grid. Like he got blasted by a panel with a grid in it.
I mean, if you're gonna fake this, we're gonna do like a hot plate, like almost like an iron kind of thing.
Yeah, I have no idea. Now, I want to be really clear, and I didn't know this until later. This picture of him, this is the famous one. This is not actually from right after the incident. This is 8 months later. The wounds they healed and came back. The original wounds did not look like that, as we'll see.
That's interesting, huh?
Yeah. So the aftermath. I've got a picture of a book cover here. This book was written 50 years later on the anniversary of the Falcon Lake incident. It was written by his son and the guy from APRA that we talked about last week, Chris Rutkowski.
Oh, okay. I think that detailed report is from Chris, the one from NICAP.
Got it. And when the book was called When They Appeared. Yeah, When They Appeared. And it's not about the When They Appeared is not a reference to the UFOs, actually. This is just kind of like fun side stuff. It's not a reference to the UFOs. It's a reference to everyone that was showing up at the house and working with the family here. The Mounties, Canadian Air Force, and other government agencies arrived shortly after Michalak's story went public in the Winnipeg Tribune newspaper. If a government vehicle, secretive or not, domestic or not, had landed in the area, the government would want to know details. And of course, there were hordes of media people and other gawkers, neighbors, I'm sure, gossips that just want to be like, "Hey, heard you saw a UFO, Bob."
Exactly. I want to touch you. Did the U.S. have any?
Yes.
Investigate this as well?
Yes, we will cover that.
Okay.
Briefly.
All right. So he only came forward to warn others of the danger that might occur when approaching an unknown downed craft. Apparently he did not want to come forward, right? And he actually wishes he never did that.
Yes, I mentioned that a little bit later, but yeah. Because he originally just came forward. Again, it was the same thing as he said to the cop. He was just trying to warn people, hey, if you see this, don't approach it. Don't touch it. You'll burn your hand. They'll blast air into your face and chest, and that'll burn you. By the time he died in 1999 at the age of 83, he passed to believing that he should have never come forward. As I've said in another article and on the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, many times, as I've said many times, UFOs will ruin your life. When you report what you saw, you and your family will be harassed from all sides. The government, the skeptics, even your friends sometimes. It hurts because what you see will fundamentally change you, as it should, but it will also change how people view you. No, It's not fair, but life isn't fair. Is it? Never is. And
no,
of course,
it is not.
Of course, I'm kind of being hyperbolic and speaking in extremes here. UFOs don't always ruin your life, but it often will. I think Betty and Barney Hill, they definitely went through some hard times when they reported what they saw, but their lives weren't ruined.
Yeah, they took it, I guess. Well, maybe he didn't. Her life wasn't ruined. I think he
didn't have it easy.
Right.
He was the black man in an interracial relationship, right. So of course it wasn't going to be easy for him.
Right, exactly. And in a lot of these cases, like you mentioned that we cover, they really don't like the fact they wish that they never came forward. Even Bob Lazar says it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so the investigation. So like you said, a lot of these organizations did conduct their own investigation to this case. So the official conclusion: the case was unexplained. Of course.
Yeah.
What are they going to say? It's aliens? No, they never say that.
Wouldn't that be nice? Well, Canada had who was it? What's his name? Hellier, right?
Yes.
He came out and said aliens are real, and that we're under the 12 races of aliens.
Yeah, and that the U.S. is crazy trying to shoot at them, trying to start a secret war.
Yeah.
So it is Canada's best documented UFO case because we have the witness, but then on the witness there's physical evidence, and then I guess on the site there was burns too that they said, and I think even some debris.
Yeah, so the site. It's an interesting thing, and it was hard to get the details squared away. But basically, they were like, Michalak, you got to take us to this thing. He's like, no, why would I do that? You guys have treated me like shit, and yada, yada, yada. And finally, he agrees, takes them. They find a circle of dead vegetation where Michalak said the UFO had landed. They found several items that he had left there, including some of his tools. And I think that's where they located his welding goggles too. I'm not positive about that. Okay. But they also got a soil sample from there. And they also would discover metal that was melted into the nearby rock, all of which was determined to be radioactive. I think
all of it was radioactive as well.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where, like, I always look at Wikipedia for these just to see, because Wikipedia always will post the skeptical side of it, but
Right.
it does have a good list of sources.
Yeah,
And the Wikipedia
definitely.
article said none of it was radioactive, and all the articles I pulled up talking about this said everything was radioactive. So I'm assuming some of the stuff was radioactive. Just
right.
probably in the
You just
middle.
take the middle. Yeah.
So Mr. Michalak clothes were tested, and while they were determined to be, oh, sorry, can you scroll back up there a little bit? I just want to read this last line here because I think it's important for us. Right there's good. They did discover high levels of radiation, which is not a surprise to us who have been researching UFOs and UAPs, because, as we know, Mr. Ezra Terrestrial from the Zeta Reticuli system loves radiation.
Yes, they do.
Every credible UFO case seems to involve it somehow, and if radiation can't be found in the available evidence, nuclear energy or power is somehow involved. Seriously, it's like every time.
Yeah, it's it just shows that when a civilization becomes advanced, they're doing something with nuclear.
Yeah, and I think because because they found radiation, it's why all these government agencies got involved.
Of course.
The Canadian Department of Defense was involved. U.S. Air Force was involved. I don't actually know what the U.S. Air Force's conclusions were. I just think that they were there investigating as well.
Mm-hmm. Which would make sense, and that proves. I mean, real or not, if they heard about this and something did come down and there's radiation, then it does come into this jurisdiction of some agencies.
Yeah. Let's see. Regular UFO sightings are normally just left to be forgotten about, but once radiation or the claims of bodies show up in the claims, that's when the spooks come out to play.
Right.
And also, APRO was there. They sent a representative, J.B. Thompson, who interviewed Mr. Michalak as well, and he took this photo. So this is what the original burns looked like.
All right, so there are holes, and it's just it looks very different than the 8 months later one, huh?
Very different, yes. I found that surprising because I assumed that first when I was doing this research, I saw that first picture and was like, oh, wow, he really got burned bad. And then I later discovered that what happened was he got burned, went to the hospital, got it taken care of, and then they would show up periodically throughout his life. But they would pop up in that grid-like pattern in the picture we saw earlier. But this photo is what it originally looked like, which now you can see that's why he's like, oh, it's a sunburn.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, why don't you take it from here? I've been reading a lot.
Yeah, so during this time, Mr. Michalak was struggling as he began to show signs of radiation sickness. In addition to the burns on his skin, he also suffered from headaches, vomiting, and even rapid weight loss, claiming to have lost roughly 13 pounds.
13 pounds in a few days. I should have put that there. Sorry.
Yeah. He was now carrying a heavy stench, which was so bad that his son Stan could recall smelling even 50 years later. The burns on his body were originally described as an exceptionally severe sunburn and didn't quite match the grid-like burn pattern on his shirt. However, the burns weren't quite done with Mr. Michalak. 8 months after he had healed, the burns returned, this time in a much more familiar grid-like pattern. Yeah, like we just said. Very strange. Mm-hmm. The return of these burns would be considered obviously factical by a psychiatrist at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota who had examined Mr. Michalak. In his report, however, he said he could find no evidence of mental or emotional illness.
So what this doctor somehow managed to find, and I truly don't understand this. Maybe a doctor or a nurse can chime in. Basically, they said, yes, these things came back and he was burned, but it was all in his head. Like he basically believes that something happened to him so bad that it became real on his skin, but also he was mentally fit. So I don't know.
Which one is it?
I don't know how you can get both conclusions there, but I'm not a doctor or a nurse or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, so they're basically saying he hallucinated and believes it.
Right, and therefore made the burns real somehow.
With his mind.
Yeah. Well, I just binged Fringe. I was telling you last week I just binged Fringe, and there's that one episode where they develop a drug that basically makes you think you're being killed and you die because your brain believes it's happening so real. Yeah. This was a really tough article to write. I had to rewrite it several times. And one of the main articles I was looking at, which was great, it was talking about the 50-year anniversary, and it was laying out just the facts and not really going into what's real, what's not real. Basically, I was in the last couple of days of writing this, the article got 404'd.
That's right. I remember you telling me that.
From the net. So we've pretty much covered this. Unfortunately, it kind of just ends. It's again, what's another UFO case where it just here's what happened and what's the outcome. I don't know. We're talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and this is we'll also link this. This is by Chris Rutkowski, actually. So, in J. Allen Hynek Center for UFOs, the Journal of UFO Studies.
Nice.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's pretty technical.
Yeah, really quick, just to go back to the debunking. It's really hard to debunk that case because there's just, they've got all of these samples taken from the site. You've got his clothes that have been burned and poisoned. He was in the hospital. But the debunkers trying to say, oh, he was out drinking, had an accident and tried to blame it on a UFO and then had to cover it up by rubbing radiation on himself and all this other stuff is just hogwash.
Of course it is, especially if he has no history of it. People that do that kind of stuff, they don't wait till 52 to start doing it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You can see signs of this.
It's a great case. We really briefly went through it. But so I recommend everyone go ahead and check that out. You can start with the article. I've got everything linked on the Substack, so you guys can go check it out from there. And we're going to continue talking about it here too. It looks like.
Yeah,
a very technical, deep, well done article.
Yeah, the craft, the welding goggles, the exhaust.
Mm-hmm.
The goggles proved to be very useful, of course, because it was really bright in there. Weird how was Star Trek out by 67? I don't remember.
I think it was.
It was early 60s, right?
Star Trek. I think Star Trek started in the early 60s. Yeah.
All right, yeah, because they had lights flickering and stuff, but still, it wasn't. His son, and we'll see in the interviews, his son said that it was like a mold. The craft looked like it was a mold, which always is cited in these cases.
Still though, I still find the exhaust panel very interesting because it doesn't fit our typical UFO.
It seems very human, doesn't it?
Yeah,
in a way. Like
it does. Oh, and that's the other thing is a big reason why I think that there's actual credence to this case is you had all these government agencies coming out and investigating it, and their conclusion is, well, it's inconclusive. But most of the time,
why have all these exactly looking into this?
And most of the time, when these get investigated by the government, they don't. But I'm talking like Project Blue Book. They'll say, "Oh, it's a plane," or "Oh, swamp gas." They'll come up with some excuse, no matter how stupid. But the fact that they just said we don't know what this is means like, oh, holy shit, they did find enough evidence to be like, this is something real.
This is definitely not a hoax. Something happened to this guy. He goes throughout the next 2 years. Michalak was examined by more than 12 physicians in the United States and Canada. Site investigations were made by members of the RCMP, RCAF, government officials, and numerous civilians. Number of government departments and officials who were involved in this case is staggering. And the ground party which traveled with Michalak to the site, there were representatives from the RCAF, which is the Royal Canadian Air Force, Training Command Headquarters, CFB, which is the Canadian Forces Base, Winnipeg, RCMP CID, which is the Criminal Investigations Division, the RCMP Federal Department of Health and Welfare.
RCMP is Royal Canadian Mounted Police, for those of you who don't know. I think those are like the feds.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And the Manitoba Provincial Department of Health and Welfare. In addition, the University of Colorado Condon Committee investigated. Life magazine reporters came to Manitoba, and two connected but separate civilian groups, APRO and CAPRO, which is the Canadian APRO, became involved. Furthermore, the Federal Department of Mines and Natural Resources took an interest, as did the White Shell Nuclear Research Establishment.
Yeah, remember the book, the title of the book is When They Arrived, and it's reference to all of these people who are showing up.
That makes sense. And none of them came out and said this guy hoaxed it. They just said, right, they concluded we don't know what happened.
But you'll never guess who is the main purveyor of the hoax and calling him a crazy person.
Is it that? Oh, what's that one's name?
No. It's the media.
Oh, of course. Yes, let's make fun of it.
Yeah,
and call him a drunk. So with regards to Michalak's mental state, an examining psychiatrist at the Mayo Clinic, all right, the world famous Mayo Clinic, said, I found no evidence of dreams or hallucinations. The MMPI was not extraordinary. I can find no overt evidence of significant mental or emotional illness, like you said.
Yeah, that's the same guy that said that he believed it happened so hard that he burned himself. in his brain.
Hold
on.
Another conclusion.
Sorry. We'll pause really quick. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so here's another conclusion or quote from Capro and Apro. A constant companion of Mr. Michalak, and he appeared to be the spokesman of Mr. Michalak during some of the interviews. Both the investigating officer and Professor Craig of the Condon Committee agreed there appeared to be monetary gain intentions associated with the relationship.
However, there was never any monetary gain from the incident. Michalak's own narrative account was privately published in late 1967. His manuscript, written in Polish, was translated and printed as a 40-page booklet, which quickly sold out. But Michalak saw little of the money recovered after publication costs, and to this day is bitter that others have made money from my experience, but not me. And he said that in 1980. Actually, because of the small run and limited circulation, it is thought that the publisher lost money. So nobody made money off of this.
Nobody made money, yeah. And then he talks about squadron leader Paul Biskey of the Royal Canadian Air Force was the investigating officer on the case. His reports to Canadian Forces headquarters are remarkable in their detail and candid comments about his investigation. But complicating his reports is the fact that Biskey was a devout skeptic and told research, quote, he didn't believe in that stuff, UFOs.
That Biskey thought Michalak was a liar is an understatement. At one point during his investigation, he bluntly asked Michalak if he'd been drinking on the day of the experience. He believed that Michalak was hallucinating because of some alcoholic stupor. Yeah, this is where the drinking thing comes from. What was really frustrating to me that I found is this. Basically, he said, "No, I wasn't drinking," and then he had a couple beers the night before, like a couple beers. I'm not saying a couple beers like he had 12 and blacked out. I'm saying he had like 2 or 3 beers the night before.
Yeah, so that's my point too. I mean, when people drink, they usually black out. They don't hallucinate and remember the hallucination, or you know what I mean? Like it's not like on mushrooms or something.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. He had 4 or 5 beers. Oh geez, so he would definitely was
not even a 6-pack.
He was definitely hallucinating then. Yeah, jeez.
So this is Biskey. Although the authenticity of Mr. Michalak's report had not been questioned up to the second search, he had appeared genuinely sincere, and his story was convincing to those who heard it for the first time. Some doubts arose during the last search. Mr. Michalak had staunchly denied having consumed alcohol beverages at any time while at Falcon Lake, yet reliable witness at Falcon Lake advised that he personally had served Mr. Michalak 4 or 5 bottles of beer the night prior to the... What does that have to do with the actual event, though? That's the night prior. But
here it is again, though, right? This is a guy, Biskey, who is clearly looking for some excuse for this whole thing.
Yeah.
The reliable witness was obviously a bartender, and Biskey did not state how his source's own reliability had been established. Yeah, he basically just found a guy who said, yeah, I served with some beers, but didn't look into it. Like, he's doing the same thing he's accusing of Michalak doing. He's saying, oh, nobody verified Michalak is telling the truth. And then he just went out and was like, oh, he was definitely drinking. Look, here's a bartender that said he served him beers. So it might not even have happened at all.
Yeah, I mean, so how do you exactly? So, I mean, how do you explain the physical and physiological evidence? So yeah, he was obviously trying to debunk this Biskey guy.
Yeah,
there's always one of them doing this, right?
Yeah, and they always seem to be the ones in charge, don't they?
Yeah. Look at that. So it was proven that Mr. Michalak does consume alcoholic beverages. In fact, to some considerable extent. Oh man. Okay. I mean, fair. You don't have to completely agree with what's going on with these events.
Right. But I mean, be fair about it. Don't make stuff up.
Biskey was convinced that Michalak had drunk heavily the night before, his alleged experience causing him to have imagined the entire UFO encounter 10 to 12 hours later.
It's absolutely the leaps in logic are ridiculous. They say, oh, he had a couple beers, and then they say, oh, he had 4 or 5 beers, and then he said he heavily drank. I mean,
right.
You know me, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so heavily drinking is not 4 or 5 beers.
No,
that's nothing.
Exactly. So, however, Biskey described an alternative theory to the author. Michalak had been drinking and burned himself on a hot barbecue grill.
Wonderful.
Support of this new theory came from another of Biskey's unnamed but quote unquote reliable sources.
Dude, the
In this
game
case-
does not change, does it?
No,
They're still doing
it
this
doesn't.
today, where they say
Yeah.
Sources inside Trump's White House say he
Yeah.
does something inappropriate. I couldn't think of a good
Experts
stuff.
say. Experts report.
Experts say, yeah.
So in this case, a woman who was awakened by Michalak pounding on her cabin door at 2 a.m. Unfortunately, Biskey said that the woman was at Falcon Lake for a tryst, and could
You know
not
what
come
that is?
forward. What is that?
It's when you're going to go have sex with somebody.
Oh my god! And could not come forward publicly. It is interesting that this explanation was never mentioned in any official report and has no other evidence to support it.
Oh,
What a
weird.
piece of crap.
Yeah.
So
Despite all of his attempts to find flaws in Michalak's story, Biskey was forced to concede that there are certain facts, such as Mr. Michalak's illness and burns and the very evident circle remaining at the site, which are unexplainable. Well, he probably got drunk and threw up in the woods, and that left a big old
Right.
dead vegetation site.
He was barbecuing on site too.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Drinking and barbecuing.
Yeah.
Michalak, you are a troublemaker. I think again that's why it's important to look at his background.
Yes.
Right, which is great that you started out the article that way. And he had a history of looking for quartz and silver and other geological things, and that's what he was doing.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great case, but it just goes to show why people get so frustrated with the government and the media, because they don't. If it's not even that they're not taking these cases seriously. It's that they're like approaching them like, okay, how do we debunk this? Let's find some let's find people that we can't name as sources. It's the same thing with journalism now today.
It is, and there's always going to be someone that wants to smear. What's this? During the period immediately following his encounter, Michalak had a slight drop in blood lymphocyte count from 25% to 16%. As noted by one investigator, the specific values and corresponding times were May 24th, 1967, 16%, May 30th, 21%, January 15th, 31%.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely something was happening to him. The white cell count was reportedly back to a normal level. During this time, the platelet counts were consistently normal. So he definitely encountered something.
Yeah. He came across a vein of uranium instead of silver, like you said, or nickel.
Yeah, and smeared it on himself.
Yeah, rolled around in it.
Nausea, vomiting. Okay, we read that. I want to see there's the physical evidence. His Mayo Clinic just looked after him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Radiation.
Yeah. Let's see. They found a ring of debris thought to have been made when the object lifted off. In addition, they found bits of Michalak's shirt and his tape measure, which had been left behind. Okay, his tape measure. Royal radiation value of 3 microcuries in the soil sample. The radiation is from a radium source and is a possible serious health hazard. Samples taken by Michalak and Hart were eventually tested by the Radiation Protection Division of the Canadian National Health and Welfare. Initial gamma analysis showed significant levels of raw 226, or it's
Rah.
Well, okay, so yeah, good. His clothes and the soil they tested all had radiation. Wow,
I'm surprised the Department of Energy didn't pounce on this, because this would fall under their purview.
Yeah.
So this is also the task of assessing the radiation hazard to the general public, and the landing site did not initially indicate that it would be necessary for the division to involve itself in the RCMP and D&D investigation. However, it became obvious that collection and coordination of all background information was essential due to the following: A, the apparent lack of cooperation by the principals toward the military and police. B, the exact location of the sighting had not been established at the time of the division.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of people who investigated this.
Yes, there were.
And, these are small circles. So it's probably because all these scientists were like, wow, you guys need to come check this out and investigate.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone wanted to investigate, obviously.
It's good. It seems like, at least on the investigation side, they took it pretty seriously.
Yeah. Vegetation. This is the burn area
mm-hmm.
of where it landed. After examining the site, he felt there was no serious health hazard involved. The fact that only a small area was radioactive conflicted with the fact that Michalak's steel tape measure was radioactive, yet it was found 40 paces from the site. The explanation offered for this was that everything taken from this site had been left together in a pile of Michalak's basement, so that unaffected items could have been contaminated after the fact. Still, though, there's radioactive contamination out in the woods. Out in the woods.
I mean, yeah, it's very weird. It doesn't make any sense for just some guy faking this, you know?
Right. This is the site as well. Not great image. It's still talking about the radiation.
Yeah,
metal. So there was metal also.
Yes. From what I remember, Michalak kept a chunk of metal that was found at the landing site later, but they also found there was metal that it seemed like it had melted into the rock or something.
What? Okay, but that could have been from the propulsion, I guess, doing that.
Who knows, man? Yeah, maybe. Massive pieces of radioactive material in a fissure of the rock within the landing circle. This consisted of 2 W-shaped bars of metal, each about 4 or 5 inches long. I don't think that's 45 inches long. I think it's 4 to 5 inches long.
Yeah.
And several smaller pieces of irregular shape. These items were said to have been found about 2 inches below a layer of lichen in the rock fissure. That's like moss, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 2 fragments each consisted of a central massive metal portion, which was not radioactive. One of these was 93% and the other 96% silver. Both contained copper and cadmium and had a composition similar to that found in commercially available sterling silver or sheet silver. The metal was coated with a tightly adhering layer of quartz sand, similar to that used as a foundry sand. This was also not radioactive. The radioactivity was contained in a loosely adhering layer of fine-grained minerals containing uranium. This layer could be removed readily by washing and brushing. The minerals were uranophane and thorium-free pitchblende, characteristically found in vein deposits. So it does seem like something was there and gave off a little bit of radiation, because these pieces of metal they pulled from the rock they weren't radioactive themselves. It seems like they had radioactive material on them or a part of them.
Do you think like coming into vicinity of these radioactive things naturally, would make someone hallucinate? Have they ever?
Man, I don't know. I definitely don't know enough about radiation to think about that. But
sounds like a comic book.
Yeah, I think the radiation has something to do with entering and exiting our reality or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think things get a little wooey to people when they're in that field. It's the same thing I think of.
It's like a portal.
A little bit. You know. I think of what's the forest in the UK on the military base?
Rendlesham.
Rendlesham Forest, same kind of thing. Remember, they were talking about the 2 guys that approached the craft. One of them basically lost 45 minutes time because he was floating around near the craft doing like tall man math and like measuring steps and stuff like that. And they're like, "Where have you guys been? It's been 3 hours." And they're like, "No, we literally been gone for 2 minutes."
It's the
same kind of thing. Like you get in that area of effects of a UFO, and time gets all wonky.
Affects time. Mm-hmm.
Time gets all wonky. Your brain activity gets all fucked up. Your perception's all weird, and then the thing that's always left seems to be some sort of radiation.
Even here, Bisky concludes. He goes, "It is interesting that items have been located at exact point of alleged landing of UFO. Should this be a hoax, someone is going to considerable effort to perpetrate the same." He just can't get over it.
He can't. He's doing everything in his power to be like, "I don't understand what this is, but it's fake."
Yeah, exactly. An understatement indeed. A number of institutions performed analysis on the metal pieces. Biospace Associates apparently had some samples tested through Colorado State University. They noted that this particular UFO loy is made of silver with no metallic impurities detectable by the X-ray fluorescence analysis.
Wow.
Look at these.
So I guess the long and short of it is they definitely found something about this case. Even
for sure.
Even Bisky, who was trying to turn this into some drunken, idiotic thing, couldn't even fully commit to that because of how much evidence that there was that proved that something real happened here.
Yeah, and even the White Shell Nuclear Research Establishment, they said the gamma spectra showed an abnormally large 190 Kelvin photo peak, which was thought to be due to enrichment of U-235. However, a chemical extraction of uranium of the 100 mesh sample and subsequent mass spectrometric analysis indicated the samples containing uranium were of natural U-235 content. Experiments are being continued to identify the cause of the large 190 Kelvin photo peak.
So they were still doing tests on the soil sample until it looks like even through 1994. Excuse me.
That's nuts. So definitely, this is when they say it's the most heavily investigated case.
They're not kidding around. Yeah.
So all right, so this craft came down. Let's hear some interviews with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
With his son as well. This one is a 6-minute thing.
Cool.
50-year-old Polish immigrant and amateur geologist Stefan Michalak looked forward to his weekend getaways alone in the Falcon Lake.
Did you hear? It's Michalak.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna try and bring that up during the article, but I just forget it. Michalak.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Michalak is very American.
Yeah, exactly.
Area, 90 miles east of his home in Winnipeg, Manitoba. This was Michalak's favorite prospecting site. Around noon on May 20th, 1967, as he examined a quartz formation, Michalak was distracted by some unruly geese. He looked up and was transfixed. He says he saw 2 cigar-shaped objects glowing red in the sky. The following is a recording Michalak later made of what he saw next.
The size, was amazing. And here they're coming down.
Oops.
With speed, I just can't describe. Amazing speed.
Michalak says one of them stopped, suddenly accelerated, then disappeared. The other landed about 50 yards away. He watched in awe.
I hear shh, and I hear a high-pitched whistle of running equipment, pumps on high speed. When the thing landed, it was of gray-pink color. It's stainless steel, and it was pink hot. And I can feel the breeze on my face that thing is hot outside. There was my notebook, there was my pencil, so I sketched it.
Michalak claims it was round, about 40 feet long and about 10 feet high. His curiosity took hold, and he approached the craft. He examined the outside of it, slowly touching the glowing skin with his gloved hand. It was fiery hot, nearly melting the palm of his rubber glove. Michalak says the craft rotated, turning its grid-like exhaust vent toward him.
Suddenly,
The blast of hot gas from the vent knocked him to the ground, setting his shirt and undershirt on fire. The craft suddenly lifted off the ground, according to Michalak, and soared straight up. He threw his burning shirts to the ground, dazed and in severe pain from burns to his chest and stomach. Michalak says he wandered around for what seemed like hours before he managed to gather up his supplies. He found his way out of the woods, caught a bus, and later that night arrived back in Winnipeg. Still in pain, he rushed from the bus station to nearby Misericordia Hospital, where he was treated for first-degree burns. Michalak claimed the blast from the craft had etched a grid-like pattern into his abdomen that matched the pattern on the exhaust vent. The next day, Sunday, he was spirited off to the St. Regis Hotel after convincing the managing editor of Winnipeg's highly regarded daily newspaper, the Winnipeg Tribune, that his extraordinary encounter was real.
At that time, I said, okay, as any newsman would have done, draw it. I gave him a piece of paper. I think that drawing has become the most famous UFO piece of evidence in the world today. He sat down, he drew it in front of me. I hid it. I talked to him. I called doctors. I called police. And I sure as hell didn't want the Winnipeg Free Press getting the story.
Monday's edition of the Tribune led with this headline: Michalak soon became a sensation worldwide. What followed was one of the most intensely examined UFO cases on record. Over the next 2 years, Michalak's burns kept recurring, and no one could explain why. He was examined by more than a dozen physicians in Canada and the United States, including doctors at the Mayo Clinic. An investigation by the Royal Canadian Air Force concluded that the abdominal burns sustained by Mr. Michalak remain as unexplainable as to the source of the burn. The Mayo Clinic psychological report concluded that Michalak was not prone to delusions, hallucinations, or any type of emotional disorder. University of Manitoba astronomer Chris Rutkowski, believing the government reports left many questions unanswered, launched his own investigation. In 1994, he published The Falcon Lake Case, Too Close an Encounter, in the respected Journal of UFO Studies.
Oh.
The terrain around the site is very rugged, very rocky. The brush is very, very dense. The trees all look alike. The rocks all look alike. And to a person who's disoriented, not feeling very well, it might be very, very difficult to find the exact site after some period of time has elapsed.
Skeptics, disagreeing with Rutkowski, also do not believe that Michalak would make physical contact with an extremely hot object he assumed was a UFO. But this does not surprise his son.
He is the kind of fellow that fear is not in his vocabulary. Not that he's a fearless man, but that when he sees something he doesn't understand, he doesn't fear it. He just chooses to understand it. For my dad to fabricate something as large as this would require more than I think he had, more than he has. He's a simple man. He grew up and lived a very straight, hard life.
This was no con man. This was a man who later went down to Mayo. They couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. The doctor I had there couldn't figure it out. I am not about to be taken by anybody. This guy didn't take me. This guy was legit.
Wow. That says a lot, man, coming from those people, right? Especially that journalist. I mean, he said that he called everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, and yeah, he wasn't that type of man.
No, it just doesn't ring true for the story. I mean, that's a lot. It's just, why would someone, do that and go to that lengths to try and create a fake, especially without the plan of like, all right, how do we make money off of this? Because as we pointed out, several times during the show, nobody made money from this.
Exactly. And so he's also Unsolved Mysteries, and that's him right here. So we can tell, if any of you out there, let's listen to him. Let's watch him. When con men are usually kind of obvious. Well, not to everyone, but to a lot of us, they are.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah.
The last one called the Michalak. And we said Michalak. So
we said Michalak, Michalak.
It's all over the place, folks.
Yes, it is. And here's again, it's a solid block of steel. I don't know if we had that in the 60s, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't. Especially since Roswell was 47, not 67. So within 20 years, could we have put something like that together?
I don't know. It's hard to say, really.
Or maybe it even is one of the craft from Roswell. It just got fixed up and repurposed.
Right, and it looks like if it looks like it's an AI system. He heard voices, right? Like muffled.
Right.
Yeah. Man, I don't know if would I be doing that? I have no idea.
I like to think I would, minus the calling out in different languages. I only know like one.
Let's see him more. I want to see him more. But he seems convincing, man. His eyes are wide open. I don't know,
I don't. And especially like you said with his background, he just doesn't. It isn't the type of person. Someone doesn't escape World War II, and do all that he did for his family just to drag them into this, because it was not easy. We didn't really touch too much on it in the article, but it was not easy having to deal with all these government agencies and the media and all this other stuff. There's a little segment in an article I read about how much the kids got bullied in school, and the because the news kept saying how he's here's Michalak or Michalak, drunk crazy person talking about UFOs, and so I know the kids had a tough time for sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And I can't
how kids are.
Yeah, and I can't see a blue collar dad, sticking to this story if that was really the case.
Right. Agreed.
I was just thinking about that. Is like I feel like this would be a really fun acting job to have because you don't have to take it too. So you're not going for you're not trying to get an Academy Award, an Oscar. Yeah, you're just like, all right, just go out there, and they probably, they're actors, so they don't they're not diving deep into the character, especially for this thing. They're just like, all right, now you're gonna stumble across this, act like you're drunk or something. Like, all right.
So 9 hours later, he finally arrived back home. I guess it's a bus ride over there.
You had to see. It is crazy, and I'm pretty sure that's William Shatner doing the narration.
It's Robert Stack.
Oh, bummer! I should have read the thing, but I was like, God, it sounds like William Shatner.
Stack's got a great voice. He recently passed away.
Oh, that's too bad.
So here, the metal fragments as well. I'm just confused about the metal fragments, to be honest. I mean, and unless it's transmuting things when it's on the ground.
I think, from my understanding, and I could be wrong, but this is the impression I got. The metal fragments aren't it's not from the ship or something. It's in the actual crystal or whatever, the vein, the whatever rock you found. It was mixed in with that, just like normal,
fused
rocks are. There's no such thing as rock, one thing. It's always a mix of things, and that was mixed in there, and that was what they were able to pull out from the vein of crystal or quartz or whatever the hell it was, nickel or
yeah, exactly. And that's where we are today. Crazy case, man. So I guess conclusion: something happened, something real happened to the guy. He didn't hallucinate it. He did not lie. He did not do some giant hoax. We can see by the evidence, by his mental state, his history, the physical evidence on his body, the soil on the alleged site as well. And it's just tough. I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible as humans, but if it was, why would they land near a guy, who's in the middle of the forest?
It could be, going down that road and just basically, just from what it sounded like, there was some sort of, if it was, let's say, an American experimental craft, maybe it was the craft from Roswell that they were tinkering around with. They needed to land and fix something that was on board the craft, right? And they found a clearing, and that's where they put down. And Michalak just happened to be there, and it was just bad timing on his part, or good timing, depending.
Or good timing, right? Yeah.
But anyway, very very fun case.
Definitely a fun case. So I'm sure, is there a museum or something in Manitoba? They should have something.
I think I remember reading that someone has set up something. Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah. Well, they should, because there's a lot of evidence, and especially people in the area, kids should read about it. These cases definitely don't get enough traction, but it's good that we did a deep dive. I didn't know there was that much into it. I remember the story of him being burned and stuff like that, but I didn't know the amount of investigative work that went into it. Yeah,
I was not aware either, so I'm glad that I can't remember how I decided to look at this case, but I'm really glad I did. This was a fun one.
Yeah, so great article. We recommend everyone to go and subscribe to Topher's Substack. He is going to have a lot of these deep dives. I don't know, what are you doing? Every month you do one? Since you
I'm aiming for every 2 weeks. This one took longer than usual. Like I said, I was having a lot of trouble with it. The next one is probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks. I'm going to be traveling here starting on Tuesday, so I don't know how much I'll actually get done in the next 10 days or so, but I'll try. Okay. But I'm aiming for every 2 weeks, and hopefully I want to get that down to every week eventually.
When you're traveling this Tuesday, so next week?
Yeah, so we'll have to talk about that if we're going to do the show next week or not.
Okay. All right. How long are you guys gone for?
10 days.
10 days. Cool.
Going to España.
España.
Yeah.
In Spain, the S is a th, right? Like they have a lisp.
Yeah, I do. I know all about it. It's going to be an interesting transition. I'm as people know, I'm learning Spanish here, and now I'm going to be switching dialects. to learn the rest of my Spanish.
Cool, man. This should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so now we'll get into UFO UAP updates and news. This is the sheriff's office in the county of Bernalillo County, where McCaslin went missing. So they had a news conference the other day and give us an update on him.
Everybody's asking why a silver alert on Mr. McCaslin. With New Mexico state statute, a silver alert does not require a formal diagnosis of any mental deterioration. The reason being also is because Mr. McCaslin is over 50 years of age. He did state that he was experiencing a mental fog. And because of this information that we received, we decided to do a silver alert. Mr. McCaslin, it was confirmed, was looking in to some of his mental fog, but out of respect for the family, I will not go into any further detail.
The mental fog is pretty much what it is. That was his statement about what he was experiencing. That was cited as reasons for stepping down from some different groups that he was working with. I'll clarify it with this. There's no indication, and we are not putting forward that Mr. McCaslin was disoriented, confused. Arguably, he would still be the most intelligent person in the room that any of us would be in. Highly intelligent, highly capable, but that information was given to us early on, and out of an abundance of caution, we escalated to a silver alert to try to garner as much public attention as possible to try to help locate him as soon as possible.
How recent was the mental fog statement? Was it immediately preceding, or is it months ago?
It's been within the prior few months.
All right, so just like we said last week, is that which is good. I mean, they used an excuse for the silver alert, basically, just to get the publication out there and let the community have awareness of what's happening.
Which
makes sense.
I'm glad they clarified. I think that's a good statement for them going forward. And that actually was my question last week: is what the hell the silver alert was.
Yeah,
I'm glad that was the first thing that we talked about.
Exactly. So, and just so people know, go back to that episode, we did go into detail about McCaslin. And I guess the conclusion is he's being protected by either the Legacy program or some government agency because of all the other deaths that's been happening from his lab and people that he knew. Not deaths, sorry, but also missing people.
Yeah. Disappearances, the weird stuff that's been going on with all of them.
Right. And Burchett was on Matt Gates' show on OAN talking about whistleblowers and them being scared of being murdered.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is well known in the community, but if you need more evidence, here's Burchett talking about it.
Are they afraid of prosecution? Are they afraid of being disappeared? Are they afraid of some other force? Where does it germinate?
I think they're afraid of being disappeared, Matt. I think they're being murdered is what they're afraid of. I think some of them truly are because of things they've seen. But just the lying that goes on within these departments, NASA saying, well, we don't have anything. We haven't studied this or whatever. And I've been in meetings with them where they've told me they've studied it. And so, and they have stuff that's classified that they can't share with the public. And so, yeah, I think it's a big cover up. I think there's too many directions that it's going. I spoke to the president about it the other morning, a little bit about just being forthcoming and bringing the stuff out. And the problem is that you've got this arrogance within government. These people are so above the law on everything that they think that we're not fit to handle it. Our colleague from down in Florida, Moskowitz, he asked the question, he said, I don't think the government has the right to tell me what I cannot be afraid of. And so, yeah, but I'm very much afraid of these
How did President
departments.
Trump react to your urging?
I don't think he, I don't want to say he didn't grasp the humongousness of it or whatever you want to call it. I think he was on a lot of other things at that time, Matt. I think we've got to get him close and we got to have a 5-minute conversation with him and just have the questions that he needs to ask. Because when I was in a meeting this year and I was told that the president was on a need to know basis on some of this information, I thought, man, y'all don't know Donald Trump like I know him. And a few of us know him because that's not going to sit well with him. Yeah. And I told him that. He goes, what does that mean? And I said, well, just that they're just completely arrogant and that they They don't think you should have that information. So I would hope that would light that fire under him. But I know there's a lot of things going on in the Middle East and other places that he's trying to tackle right now.
It's like they did it on purpose, let's get him busy with the Middle East so this stuff doesn't come out. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, dude.
I wouldn't either.
It's a win-win. The secret stays, and they get the Iran war.
Exactly.
And get to destroy the system we're in. I mean, and here's something far out is if this technology comes out, it's going to destroy this system anyway, this oil economy that we have. So do you think they're purposely destroying this system themselves, like a controlled demolition of this economy or a system that we have, to then come out with the new ones as not an excuse, but see, it's already destroyed anyway. Here we are with the new technologies. I mean, what I'm afraid of is that the only this empire won't have those technologies. The new empire being built in the Middle East will have those technologies, right? Mm-hmm. Just to give it a more of a divine aura about it.
Sure.
Imagine they build out an empire there and they don't even need oil. See, we got 0-point energy, guys. The brilliant Israelis created it. Whatever they come up with.
Right. Unfortunately, I can totally see what you're saying. I definitely can see it going that way. And they could even use the Messiah thing as a piggybacking thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Look what God gave us. God gave us this incredible technology, and
Right. Yeah. See, we are God's chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to join in if you want to have these technologies and the benefit of them. You have to join, right? And that's what that whole New World Order is.
Yeah.
Joining and bowing down.
Well, and what always makes me not laugh, what makes me chuckle bitterly about that, join us. You'll never be on their level. Even if you quote unquote join them, you'll still be a peon.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's an exclusionary club, and you can't really join it. They don't want you to join. Actually, they say it. They say just be a good Noahide. Follow the Noahide laws. You don't have to convert or anything like that. But the Noahide laws have in there that you do not blaspheme God, but that also includes rabbis. And so if you criticize the rabbis or Israel, that is punishable by death in that system.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Here's David Grush. Also talking about the how researchers and whistleblowers are scared to come forward because they might be murdered.
People we did interview, I'd say about 10 to 12 of them had concerns about wet work, murders in the past, people going missing in their workplace. I certainly had, some disturbing things happen to me in my personal life from a physical intimidation perspective, which I reported to my agency's counterintelligence element when I was still in government. Obviously, I was never physically harmed, but I certainly saw signatures of what I thought was illicit extragovernmental activity as it related to intimidating me and some of my other colleagues. Just was very, very disturbing and upsetting information. So I don't have any personal knowledge of that kind of stuff, but I did talk to firsthand witnesses who had very high credentials that were government officials that did espouse that concern of illicit wet work and other physical intimidation type activities. So
what happened to me personally was very disturbing. So I have to be very vague about this because ongoing investigation, but I think you'll understand what I'm saying, is they showed my wife and I they can touch me at any time, 2 times. And it was very disturbing. It was in conjunction with some other people getting a message like that are, let's say, publicly well-known, some that aren't publicly well-known.
I was told that there were 2 names on a list of people that I was looking through and I was warned to not reach out to those individuals because they have the capabilities and would have no problem having someone like me killed.
So crazy, man. So crazy. This brazenly saying that.
It is scary. And it just all those corny action movies, where spies have to go kill one of their own citizens, and it's like, That's a moral quandary. That's real. That really happens.
Yeah, and there's a movie I think we talked about this. Bruckheimer, Apple got it. They bid and they won the bid, but there's a new UFO disclosure movie coming out in conjunction, of course, with Spielberg. Mm-hmm. But this one is like government insiders find out about the legacy program, and it's about all them running away from being killed. Basically, it's like a thriller.
Sounds good. I'll watch it.
Yeah, definitely. And this James Fox also mentions something along these lines.
I got a call from somebody in the intelligence community calling me and calling Kirk, which I thought was odd, calling us both kind of almost at the same time. He got a call, then I got a call. And somebody who was about a whistleblower, a potential whistleblower, was about to come forward that was connected to David Rush, was found dead with a suicide note, 35 with 2 kids. And that was spooky. I mean, I saw that firsthand. And I was worried, actually, at the time, that Kirk wasn't going to do the interview. But he did it anyway. So, yeah, the threats are real. The concern is real. And look, could all these things just be a mere coincidence? They could be, but somehow I doubt that. When I got a call.
James Fox is always careful. Like, could it be a coincidence? It could be.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, but come on, it's not likely.
It's the lawyer talk. It's
right.
Just to cover your own ass, so you're not technically libeling or slandering anything or any organization.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like every time we talk about anti-government and what should the people do, I always clarify that it's not a call to violence.
Right. Wink, wink.
Yeah. No, don't say wink, wink, because that ruins.
I'm kidding.
There you go.
It is in the Declaration of Independence,
Yeah, well, we know how much our government respects the Constitution and paperwork like that.
Right. They love our founding documents. Didn't we cover that? It's really dangerous that we're flying our founding documents on airplanes across the country because of the 250-year anniversary.
Did we cover? I don't remember talking about that.
Oh yeah, there's people are worried because those documents need to be in like in environments to keep them from getting ruined. What if a plane crash happens? They're gone.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So.
Oh man. Well, I watched that movie with Nick Cage where he has to steal the Declaration of Independence. I remember how seriously they take the protection of that document.
Very serious. Yeah, it is. And he's Walter Kern. He's a well-known journalist, and he's in this subject. And I like this because he talks about NASA or was it NRO or some satellites. They said. These scientists in these programs just said we see things all the time going in and out. Could it be human? Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe some are. Half. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You said something this morning about interviewing somebody that informed you that they frequently see things coming and going just above the atmosphere. Can you tell me about that?
Well, I've spoken to all kinds of experts and whistleblowers and people who've been involved in the military and intelligence. And one of them who had a role in satellite intelligence told me one time off the cuff, "Oh yeah, we see them come and go all the time." And I was them, and he said, "Yeah, craft, objects coming into the outer atmosphere from space and leaving it again, particularly around times of war and back when during nuclear tests and rocket launches, especially now. When Elon Musk shoots a rocket off for SpaceX, it is alleged to me that there is interest from these objects, and that it can be picked up on instruments. Now, that sounds wild, but I'm not a journalist because I want to tell you things you already know. I'm a journalist because I want you to tell you things that you don't know yet. And I've tested these sources. I'm not a complete dummy, and I can't, of course, see the tapes of those events, but I can tell you that in the aggregate, I think there's something here.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable position.
It is. And then there's that one Secretary of Energy, Reagan's Secretary of Energy, John Harrington, apparently was briefed And he says it's aliens, right? But, at least back then. And he cried himself to sleep.
Yeah, it's the same story that supposedly it's about Jimmy Carter, right? Same kind of deal where he was briefed and he immediately was moved to tears.
Right. Yeah. And it's probably because the truth is just scary. I mean, there is a hierarchy in nature. There just is. There's hierarchy in our society, in our civilizations. There's obviously a hierarchy over us. You know, we are probably not the top apex.
Yeah. I have to know what it is at this point, because
maybe we're being farmed. Our souls are being farmed. Something like that. Something horrific like that.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, again, it's one of those things that's like, it's scary, but like, what am I going to do about it? You know, it's not like I don't know, but I know I'm weird too at the same time. If it really was something that horrific that our souls would be harvested, you know, it would bring a lot of things. It bring up a lot of new questions as to, you know, Epstein and things like that as well. But I don't think,
from the way they behave, right? Because they behave with no consequence,
right?
Yeah, and maybe that's what they're worried about. And you know, humans need consequence to behave. And many people have brought this up about religion. Maybe that's why religion was created as well, is to
make sure we don't go completely off the rails. Sure.
It does seem we're unnatural though, then, if we have to be controlled that way.
Yeah. And if that's really the case, that we do need to be controlled that way, that means someone figured that out a long time ago that was above us. Right. And then they had to put those things into power, because if, you know, humans can't be the ones that figured out that, oh, we're so violent and crazy, we need religion to survive, and then also be religion or be super crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the eye can't see its own eye, right?
Yeah, and it shows the behavior of our elite, like you just said, like Epstein and whoever's in charge. You know, they just kill lives like it means nothing. So they act in that behavior, that psychopathic behavior, like they know something.
Yeah.
They don't behave as people that think there's consequences in this world.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to this guy. Yeah. He was friends with Reagan's Secretary General Harrington. Is there a name to this guy? No. But yeah, let's take a listen.
You know, to get the job, I had to be briefed, and I went and lived in an underground facility in West Virginia for a number of months. And every night, you know, after they would brief me, I would cry myself to sleep. Mm-hmm. And and that, you know, that line still haunts me. Very good family friend, somebody that I looked up to, was a real role model for me. I guess he was advance man for Reagan in his campaign in 1980. When Reagan got elected, he had a special appointment in the Reagan administration, and he had moved his family from the West Coast, where we both grew up, to the East Coast, and was living in a place called Langley Farms, Virginia. And he asked me and a couple friends to drive his 2 cars and his dog and some stuff they left in the garage across the country. Now, I had just graduated from high school. This was 1981. I was about to go to UCLA. We had a crazy road trip. I don't even know how we survived it. That's a whole different story. But when we got to his house, the first night that he came home from work, he arrived in a black Lincoln Town car with a whole kind of Secret Service escort and a briefcase handcuffed to his wrist. And, you know, I had never seen him in this capacity. He was a lawyer when I was growing up, a very successful lawyer. But now he was being treated, you know, like a high-ranking official in the government, which was both exciting and confusing to me. So cut to, we have dinner, everyone catches up. He has 2 daughters that I grew up with that were a little younger than me. And it's like a family reunion for me because I haven't seen them in years. After dinner, he wants to just catch up with me. So the 2 friends that I have, they're very interested in the 2 daughters, so that they have things to do. And this person, his name is John Harrington, and I go out onto the back veranda. And, you know, there was a couple really interesting things. You know, when we were growing up, he was a strict Calvinist, if I remember. So, you know, he didn't drink, he didn't swear. He was a man of high character and integrity. But he was also really fit. And when I saw him, he looked very haggard. He looked very run down, like he was carrying a lot of weight emotionally. And he also brought a bottle of Jim Beam out to the backyard and was pouring himself drinks as we were talking. And I got the sense that this was a guy that, as I said, was burdened. He whatever he was doing was weighing heavily on him. So we start to talk, we catch up, and at some point I ask him, well, what is his new job? And he quickly explains he can't really say. It's classified. He's working for the president. And I keep pushing. And eventually he says, well, to get the job, I had to be briefed. And I went and lived in an underground facility in West Virginia for a number of months. And every night, after they would brief me, I would cry myself to sleep. Mm-hmm. And yeah. And that, that line still haunts me because this is a man that I couldn't imagine crying once, let alone every night. And, of course I said, well, why? I don't understand what would cause you to cry yourself to sleep every night. And his response, was really startling. He said, this is not the world I thought I was bringing my daughters into. Mm. And, again, I'm sure most people listening to this are older than 18, but when you're 18 years old and you hear those type of statements, there's no frame of reference. Like this is all very kind of staggering ideas. And so I pushed back and I said, well, okay, I need to know something because I'm like a son to you, aren't I? Like, right. What is this world that I've been brought into? I need some answers. So I pushed, and eventually he hit on something interesting. He said, when you were growing up, I remember you were into science fiction and comic books and stuff. And so I can tell you one thing. Aliens are real. They're here, and I've seen them.
Wowzers.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for Jim Beam, because there's no way he should have been saying that to an 18-year-old.
Yeah, good point. But it shows, he was burdened by something. He went from not drinking to drinking, from not crying to crying, from being in good shape to looking disheveled, right, and broken. Yeah. Damn, man, I want to know. I want to know so bad. Too. I have a need to know.
I was gonna say it's in your name.
And you know what? Even if they are using us for whatever reason, I mean, that's just the nature of it, right? And
like
all animals.
I still want to know if that's the truth. If we're being harvested for our souls and yada yada yada, like that doesn't mean you have to give up on life.
No, it doesn't. It means that you should enjoy it even more while you have your freedom, and maybe. I mean, and lots of remote viewers have said this as well, is that this life is just it's for hardening the soul. So it's something. It is like how we grow plants. It might be something similar to whatever, growing a soul.
Well, if that's really the case, I have to wonder how the people who are in the know, how they figured that out, or were they told? And then if they were in fact told, who's the source, or what's the source, I guess is a better question. And then
that source could be lying as well.
I was going to say, and can you trust that source?
Right. Exactly. I mean, what if it's their propaganda saying that they control everything? What if there's a way out of it? What if there's a way out of it and they're just not telling us?
Yeah. So that's why I have to know, is because those are all really good questions. Can we even trust that?
Yeah.
Or is that some other weird double form of propaganda fed to the officials by the people who are in the know, who don't actually know anything? They're just saying saying that as another way to control the people who are in charge.
Yeah, it could be to scare them into fear. Control. I mean, or even to find out who's leaking stuff out. They might say these things. Oh, he's the leaker.
Exactly. Yeah, Game of Thrones type shit. You tell 5 different people 5 different rumors, and whenever one comes out, that's your leaky faucet.
Right. And there's some other weird things going on. There's comets found all over the world. Some are legit comets, but some would just float in the air and then turn. I think these ones were legit ones. That one's a legit one. You can just tell. This one Could be satellite. That's definitely legit too. I don't know what the hell that is. But yeah, see this one, how it just floats. The one from Garden Grove, which we'll get to, starts turning.
Yeah, that's pretty bizarre.
And then there was one in Texas. There was one in Garden Grove, California, which is right here.
All right, missed that one.
This one is in Red Oak, Texas.
What the fuck is this?
Look at it; it's going up now.
Weird. And then it snakes back the other way a little bit too. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
It could
That
be a
is
test vehicle,
weird.
maybe.
I don't know. If it is a test vehicle, it shouldn't be that visible. What the hell? Turning all over the place.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then, truly
Then-
bizarre.
Yeah,
That's
then
not.
it's like
That's not a
no,
comment.
no, that is not a comment. Oh, he just
Wow.
blew some smoke.
Weird.
Yeah.
I wonder what the
Yeah.
hell that is.
It's still there.
I have to know.
And now he can't find it.
Yeah. Huh. Cool stuff.
Yeah, and then there's the one the one from Dallas, Texas also. I know they had some. Here's Garden Grove. What is up with the internet, man?
Weird. Look at that thing. That looks like a rocket.
Yeah, definitely. I got the news of this too late, so when I went outside, I couldn't see anything.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hey.
Truly weird stuff in the skies.
I know, especially that war is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when these things start to show up. And of course, you have these people saying, could it be Iran?
Of course.
Yeah. I'm sure they're busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they got enough on their plate to not be flying weird comet-like ships all over the place.
And the one from Dallas, this one was funny. Yeah, this is Dallas.
And this is all in the last week?
Yeah, they were just a few days apart.
Boy, that is bizarre.
Hey, I can't see. There it is. You can see it on her phone too.
Yeah.
You got the
And
hip
those
hop.
nails.
Yeah, it goes with the music. So it's still
Man,
there.
That is.
Oh,
wow,
it's turning.
Yeah. Weird. And no one, not even SpaceX has come out and said, "Oh, we had a failed launch" or something.
No.
Man, that is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make of that. That is cool footage.
And then there was one in Pennsylvania, but I think it's just a normal comet.
Okay.
It just falls. But still, all this was what happened last week.
Yeah.
This one-
So, listeners, keep your eyes on the sky. Let's figure out what's going on up there, huh?
Whoa.
Oh, weird. That thing's hauling.
Whoa, what the fuck was that? Whoa, did I get that on my fucking dash cam?
Yes, you did.
Whoa! Something just burned up in the fucking sky, bro!
Oh, good stuff.
And then there's a boom here. It crashed. Oh, there it is. Oh!
Jeez.
Yeah, that's definitely a comet. But there's a boom, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Man, yeah, I honestly had no idea all this was going on. I guess I haven't been paying close enough attention the last couple of days.
A loud boom that was heard across parts of Pennsylvania and Ohio on Tuesday morning, shaking buildings in the Cleveland area. It was apparently a meteor, weather forecasters said. So I did ask ChatGPT, are we going through an asteroid belt or a meteor shower? And said, no, that doesn't happen till April.
Huh. Well, I mean, close enough. Maybe this is still, though, very, very bizarre stuff. Man, really cool. Here we go. Here's something out of Minsk.
Minsk, Belarus.
Охренеть. НЛО над Минском. Дожили. Спасибо, батька. Что это за херня, а?
Oh. I mean, there are lights in the sky. Could be anything, right?
Yeah, but
whoa.
Время.
What the hell?
Значит, время.
Weird.
Охренеть.
They definitely seem to like meet up, and then I don't know. They do whatever UFOs do, I suppose.
Yeah, like, hey, how's it going? Let's dance around. I mean, like the ones I saw in Iraq looked like they were dancing around each other.
So bizarre.
This guy's great. So he uses his telescope, and he calls this a Class 7 UAP.
Okay. Now, what does that mean? Class 7.
That's his class. He's got like different classes of UAPs that he's
keeping track
recording. Yeah, keeping track of. Man, at least my computer is not.
That's class 12.
Sorry, class 12. Did I say 7?
Yeah. I know my Latin numericals.
Is a clear sphere. What you see is a light bar attenuated through the clear sphere from light that is emitted from the sun. This object is called the interceptor because it intercepts other objects within the airspace. Its propulsion has a base in oscillation, frequency, or resonance. It oscillates or vibrates in the plane of movement. This object is moving slow, so its oscillation is not as pronounced. I've been able to capture the absolute details of these class of UAP by deploying a telescope and hunting the skies until I capture one. This past week, I finally got the clearest shot of this class of UAP as I've ever gotten.
Wow.
It has a beauty to it.
Yeah.
Almost angelic.
I was just about to say
I was
that.
in awe as I stood there looking through the viewfinder at this flying through the sky above my head.
Yeah, it does look angelic.
Trying to understand what it is that I was actually seeing. It's hard to say. We are just now taking the first steps as individuals learning about what we have around us. The true nature, the true reality, the prime truth of what exists around us. An unredacted form of information. You cannot redact reality. You can't stop people from looking up.
Yeah, despite their best
In the coming
efforts.
year, regaining your personal sovereignty is going to become paramount. Extremely important in understanding the true nature of reality. Psychological operations are a real thing. We know they are. And they are directly attacking this entire space of information. For some reason, it is wanted that we do not understand this space, understand the true nature of reality as far as what is around us, what exists, who is there. The facts are, they are there.
Yes, they are. So this is Pro Pixel Video Analysis on X. Definitely give him a follow.
Yeah, very cool stuff.
Yeah, he's doing great work. He's just, and you know, at this, we don't need Arrow or anyone telling us if these kind of images are coming out.
Yeah, but how will I get my information from sources that are definitely compromised by the CIA?
Right. And we'll see. Arrow also had a special invite session. So it looks like they're trying to be taken seriously again. I don't know if I trust them though.
Well, only time will tell.
Bob Lazar is back.
Yay, Bob Lazar!
There's a movie called S4. That's coming out, and this is the trailer for it. Man, so much information, so much of these. So we have Spielberg coming out with the movie, I think in June. This Apple movie as well, and then Bob Lazar, a new documentary.
Yep, gotta get it prepped.
Hopefully, there's some new stuff in there.
Hopefully,
we'll see. Yeah, let's take a look at the trailer.
Okay.
Physical evidence now exists which proves that there is life elsewhere, and at least one form of that life has been here. As of 1989, that evidence was in the custody of the United States government. Between December of 1988 and April of 1989, I worked as a senior staff physicist in what has to be the most secret project in history. My job in this program was to be part of a back engineering team. This particular disc appeared to be in excellent condition, and because of its sleek appearance, I nicknamed it the Sport Model. The goal in this program was to see if the technology of the disc could be duplicated with Earth materials. To start up the reactor, of course, we need some element 115. In fact, you need 223 grams, machined into a wedge like this. The program out at S4 consisted of 3 projects: Project Galileo, Project Sidekick, and Project Looking Glass.
The file on top was Project Galileo, and as it turned out, that's the project that I was part of. And that clearly referred to reverse engineering a recovered alien spacecraft.
Just cannot be a secret from anyone, not just the American people, but the rest of the world.
All this stuff is something that happened to him. It's not who he is.
They're doing everything they can to keep this information secret.
That's empirical evidence. I saw a craft to do that, thanks to him.
Now this story spills, and the world changed.
Cool.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Oh, April 3rd.
Coming quick.
Yeah, that's in 10 days. About 10 days, 11 days, something like that.
Yeah, all right. Checking
Very
that
cool.
out for sure.
Available on Amazon. Nice.
All right.
I started David Paulides' new documentary, 411 National Parks. It came out yesterday. It's on Prime.
Oh, really? I've been waiting for that. Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Is it good so far?
Yeah, dude, you're gonna love it. It's so
Nice.
good.
I can't wait.
Maybe something the same happened to McCaslin. You know, he's looking into it, but I didn't see any weather anomalies when I asked AI about the weather anomalies in that area. It did say that it's unusually hot, meaning that they can't use their
Heat.
infrared. Yes, all the heat and all the infrared stuff.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Very interesting. Cool, man. This is great. So all of these, what do you think? Do you think there's a sinister purpose behind all of these UFO, UAP movies and documentaries that are kind of all dropping here this year? Or do you think it's just kind of like someone saw it was getting popular and then everyone jumps on it because Hollywood is not good?
So it's both of those. It is, I think, but definitely the government has to have its narrative control come in. That's what they're around for, right? Now, I'm not saying that, and it might be the Spielberg one is that, or I'm not saying all of them are that, but definitely they're going to have their fingers in those.
Now, do you think it's more of a prepping us to get ready for the disclosure, or do you think it's more they're getting the narrative that they can control out there, so people can go, "Oh, it's just narrative."
Yeah, the narrative. Of course, elements of truth is going to be in there, so it's up to us to discern what it is. But just knowing them, they don't want the real truth out there,
right?
And it could be ancient humans that are doing this. This is an old planet, and our civilization is brand new. What, 6,000 years old? It's nothing.
That's for sure.
So the government did register aliens.gov.
Yeah, and they're being all cutesy about it too. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Whoever made the announcement was like, "Look out for more." And put a smiley face.
Tuned. Yeah, stay tuned with an alien face, right?
Yeah, it's just like, come on, guys. So wait. Sorry, the government has registered aliens.gov. That's what we're talking about now.
Yes, exactly. They registered aliens.gov, and then when they were asked what's going to be in there, the representative said, "Stay tuned," and then had an alien emoji next to it. All right. Oh God, we only have 3 more minutes. I do want to cover that 4chan thing just quickly, even though it's so ridiculous. But there might be some elements of truth in it.
4chan has gotten a few leaks right here and there.
Yeah, they have. So here, let's open this up. This was in what year is this? June 22nd, 2025. So I think that was during the 12-day war, wasn't it?
Honestly, I can't remember.
So there's a TLDR. Israel breaks ceasefire and strikes Iran. Trump responds with B-2 bunker buster on nuclear sites. Iran hits all Gulf oil fields. Oh, wait a minute. This is based on another one. The TLDR of this. Anyway, Iran hits all Gulf oil feeds and U.S. bases, blocks Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb. Oil prices skyrocket, blackouts in Africa and Third World. U.S. sends 3 aircraft carriers. I mean, all this is already happening. At least 2 sunk by Iran, Russia, and China using suicide tactics. U.S. tries amphibious invasion, which we're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
First fails with massive casualties. Second attempt succeeds. Oil field seized. Advance halts. U.S. civil war begins. Anti-war bloc takes D.C. with military support. U.S. splits in 2 and retreats from Middle East. Turkey betrays NATO, joins Russia, Iran, China alliance, attacks Israel. Oh, they'd love that. That's the Gog-Magog war.
Yeah. Yep.
China invades Taiwan and Guam. Yeah, did you see that? How China is surrounding Taiwan? Yeah.
They're prepping.
North Korea invades South. Japan fails to stop it. India possibly flips sides. Russia invades Poland and Baltics, links to Kaliningrad. Finland and NATO invade Russia, take St. Petersburg. Finland really takes over Russia.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Europe collapses into riots, famine, and civil wars. Latin America allies with China and Russia. I don't know if we're going to let them do that. U.S. invaded from the south. Advance stops at Colorado. 50 to 150 tactical nukes used high in atmosphere. Tsar bomb and 2 strategic nukes used in Europe. Israel destroyed. Palestinians wiped with it. Air travel ends. Crime and chaos everywhere. 3 weeks of nuclear events. Fake alien invasion begins. MJ-12 release synthetic alien soldiers, PLFs. PLFs hunt survivors. FEMA camps classify people as useful or undesirables. By 2027, 5 billion dead. Fake aliens defeated with help of real ones. One world government under MJ-12 in the UN. Dome of the Rock destroyed. Script complete.
I mean,
holy shit!
I'd watch the hell out of that movie.
Yeah. And, it is, yes, in the script. Now, the whole, MJ-12 fake alien things, that would be fun. That would definitely be fun to watch. The nukes will definitely not be fun to watch. I'll probably be way dead before this even happens.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we both like the Fallout series, I don't think real life anything like the games, unfortunately.
Right, yeah, exactly. But, man, let's hope that none of this happens.
Right, yeah, I really hope not, because that's a lot.
Wouldn't surprise me, though. Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, some of it, like U.S. Civil War, I know everyone talks about that, but I still don't think that's a thing.
Yeah,
I really.
It could be manufactured, but we are all waking up to the fact that it's not left versus right, and you can see that signaling everywhere from influences everywhere. They're actually saying let's come together and defeat this.
Right.
So
and the fact of the matter is, there isn't enough people that are willing to go die for. Just to go fight your neighbor and go die for your family and go kill your neighbor. I just don't think there's enough people that would be willing to do that.
Right. I mean, many people say that's why they brought in all the millions of people during Biden. Is that because they don't really have a historical tie to this land, and they could be used to kill Americans. You know what I mean? Like the government says, all right, you're going to be our troops for this, and that kind of civil war.
I don't even think that's realistic. You really think, the guy who snuck over from the Mexican border is really gonna he'll just be like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and fight for the American.
I don't actually. I think it's backfiring on them. I think they came here because they believed in the ideals of America, and then when they're seeing that these ideals are being trampled on, and subverted that they actually get pissed off, and they probably join with Americans.
No, I just don't think. Yeah, I don't even think it'd go that far. I think if anything, a quote unquote civil war, it would be the equivalent of Jan 6, or the equivalent of any time those, like, remember those militia guys in Oregon a few years back?
Mm-hmm. Like the brothers, what they're called.
Yeah.
Now.
Like, is that a civil war? No, it's a bunch of radicals acting like radicals.
Right. Yeah. And
so
they were
but that's as far as I could ever see it going. But most people are like normal, even if you don't agree with someone's beliefs.
I mean, I think that the civil war would be a real incitement against the government, like remove Trump, remove Hegseth, who are largely responsible to what's going on.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. Not a left versus right one.
Even that. I mean, look at the rhetoric about Trump right now from the last 10 years from the lefts, and what insurrection, what have they done besides complaining on Twitter?
Yeah, and now he's going after the left next. He goes, now that Iran's dead, now we're going to go after the Democrats. It's like the same thing like what Biden did. Like, they're trying to divide. You remember when Biden was saying like dark MAGA or something, and white supremacy and all those crazy speeches he was doing? So now Trump is doing it, to the other side. Hopefully it doesn't work. I don't think
it will.
I don't think so.
It won't. I have pretty good faith in the American people that 80% of them, they don't care what you're doing in your own home, what you believe in, as long as your beliefs are not encroaching onto theirs.
Yep. Yeah. Totally. Well, cool, man. That was the update we had. I think the deep dive was a good one.
Hopefully you guys all enjoyed that.
Yeah, if anyone has any ideas for deep dives you guys want us to do, we are open to it, and we'd love to dive deep into them.
Absolutely. Yeah, I need some ideas. Give me ideas.
I mean, we've done so many. I think we've done over 50 or something like that. just on deep dives. But there apparently is plenty of them.
Oh yeah, it never ends, buddy. It never ends.
Right. Yeah, it's a big planet. It's a big subject as well. It's a global subject. We haven't covered that much overseas, but we've done some Russia ones. We've done Canada. Have we done any ones in Mexico? I'm sure Brazil. We've done Brazil, but just the big ones.
Yeah.
We've done Australia. I wonder if we did, but New Zealand has things as well.
Mm-hmm. Europe. Yeah, we can do a little bit of traveling and explore outside of the United States a little bit.
Yeah, it should be fun. Just so everyone doesn't think, it's just an American thing. It's definitely not an American thing.
No, it's not. I'm really tired of hearing that rumor.
Right.
It's definitely a lot more spiritual in other parts of the world. Like, I know Africa has some really good alien abduction cases, but it's all very they don't think they don't necessarily think it's aliens. They see it as spirits and stuff like that. There's some really cool. I'm trying to remember. There's this guy. He's a shaman. I can't remember his name. He's out of Africa, so one of the countries there. I can't remember which. And he's well known for his alien abduction cases, but they're all very brutal, like the things they do to him.
Really? Yeah, we should look into that then.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find that.
Very cool. All right, so I mean, of course, everyone, please like and share this video. It helps us, especially on YouTube. Although our last episode did do much better than the ones before it.
Good.
Probably because we didn't mention Iran
at
all on that episode. So that is kind of the trick. Also on Spotify, we did well. So love the comments coming in there. Please keep them coming.
Absolutely. We love you guys' feedback.
Yeah. And again, follow us on X at UAP the podcast. I'm at Breakaway Civil, and Topher is at Topher at all. And let us know how we're doing. We do read our comments and we listen to them and act accordingly, as you can see.
Yeah, and if you're like me, I stew over negative comments for long periods of time. I got to get better at that, about not doing that.
Right. I mean, yeah, you do have to have a thick skin.
Yeah, but I still do appreciate, hearing how we're doing. So
yeah,
it's not
me
all
too,
bad.
definitely. Me too. Cool.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening to the Uncovering Anomalies podcast, and we will see you all next week.